Hello.
You are listening live. What's up,
Live.
everybody? Uh, episode number 143. We're live on YouTube. Hopefully, you're watching on Spotify, listening on Apple Pods. But we're here. Football's over. We're coming up with stuff to talk about. We just yapped for about an hour before we got on, so I got to remember if I have any opinions left. How are you tonight, sir?
I'm doing well. Doing well. Basketball is somewhat back. I'm just trying to find any OT possible so I can go do my WrestleMania week and hopefully a week in Seattle to see the Kraken and Mariners. But
Yeah.
doing well. Got a little bit of this. First time I'm trying this C4 energy drink.
I loved those when I was drinking energy drinks. What's that? The peach mango?
Yeah.
Bombsicle is very good. And what's the other one? Electric lime or something, the green one.
Yeah.
The only one I didn't really care for was the cotton candy.
Really?
Yeah, cotton candy doesn't really have a flavor. It's just sweet.
Uh,
Yeah, the smart energies were some of my favorite because they're like 200 caffeine and they're not too bad. And I didn't get the headaches when I was drinking those.
yeah. But I didn't get any jitters, nothing. I feel like it's just
Yeah.
nothing
Oh, it's
happened to me.
awesome. Yeah, they're the best. They if you haven't had them yet, they have Starburst flavored ones. I don't know if they
Oh, yeah, they
discontinued
do.
them, but yeah. Oh my God.
I was thinking
The
about getting
Starburst
it.
flavored ones were so good.
I should have got it. I got two
I miss
peach
those.
mangoes. I should have just got a
Where'd you find
Starburst.
them?
My local Acme.
Okay. Yeah, we used to carry them in my store. We had I went through those like crazy. The yellow, the red, and the orange Starburst flavor, phenomenal.
It was
They
like
were
a.
probably actually they might have been my favorite energy drinks that I've ever had.
I'm gonna see if they have it at Wawa tomorrow. I'll pick up a
They have them
strawberry
at the
one.
Wawas near me, and
Mm-hmm.
usually the supermarket. I don't really look for them in supermarkets. I don't really go through that aisle, but I'm pretty sure C4 they sell in most supermarkets. They should have those.
Yeah, they should.
Um, breaking news: Austin Nola joining the Kansas City Royals.
Yeah.
Just a mere day after the Gary Sanchez contract was officially signed. He's been rumored to go to the Brewers for what, a month?
Really?
And yeah, they finally made it official yesterday.
Good for Austin Nola. Now, the Gary Sanchez signing, does that mean Blake Snell comes back?
Well, friggin' the Yankees fans are tickling themselves on Twitter every 5 minutes because anytime Snell's tagged in like a post or tagged in a like a story, he will watch it. And people are posting stories of like it's like edits of Blake Snell in a Yankees jersey, and they're posting that he's seeing them. I'm like, well, yeah, because he looks at all of his. He's got nothing to do. He's just playing freaking Call of Duty right now, and waiting for Boris to get him a contract. Of course, he's gonna look at all of his Instagram mentions, and they're talking themselves into the fact they might get him because I mean, who's gonna pay that contract outside of the Yankees
Right.
and maybe the Angels, but
Red Sox?
uh, they refuse to spend money. They're working on a contract extension for Brian Bello, the relief pitcher, and even they can't even get that done. But I think Snell's eventually going to be a Yankee, but it's or maybe there's a secret team or whatever, a surprise team in there. But
Does he have to shave that goatee part, the bottom part?
yeah, anything only mustache and your sideburns can't go below the ear.
Yankee rules,
So
baby.
Stroman, I don't know if Marcus Stroman had longer hair. I forget if he did, but he's clean shaven now. Looks kind of weird. Verdugo looks awful.
That's the Red Sox
He
guy?
yeah, he's still got the chain, but he looks awful. He looks like a little boy.
He looks like a baby face.
Yeah, we could do a whole episode on some of the worst. Remember when Kevin Youkilis was a Yankee for like a week and he had to shave his goatee? That looked
He
terrible.
looked like a thumb, didn't he? Because he was bald as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. Garrett Cole shaving the beard and the hair when he went to New York. He looks good, but he doesn't look as cool as he did with
Gallo looked crazy.
the Astros. Gallo and the funny thing is the second these guys leave, they grow it out. IKF grew his beard back. Gallo just signed with the Nats, I think, a couple weeks ago.
Ooh.
So we might see him a little bit. Kind of
IFK's in
left us with
Toronto, right?
the Toronto, yeah. And Aroldis Chapman, where did he go? He went to the Pirates, I think.
Mm,
Is that what it was?
I did
I know
see him in the
last year
news.
he was a Royal and then eventually
Let me see.
a Ranger, but I think Chapman just signed with the Pirates.
He signed
Yeah,
with,
just
yep,
meaning like a
one
month
year.
ago. It wasn't super recent.
1 year deal.
Um, By the way, the Phillies getting Whit Merrifield. I don't know if we touched on this last episode or if we talked about
We
it
did not.
potentially happening, but Whit Merrifield coming to the Phillies, a 1 year deal worth what, $5 million or something like that.
Something crazy.
and has an option for next year, and it's either a $1 million buyout or a $5 million option or something. It's a really I like the deal. I think fans should not get too excited about it. Exciting from the standpoint that it does improve the team, but they're not getting the AL hits leader or this Gold Glove defender at multiple. But they're not getting Ben Zobrist. They're getting a guy that will fill in either at second base or at left field or
First
maybe
base.
occasionally at first base. But if you look at his numbers defensively, he really didn't play anything other than left or second last year. And he's probably not going to hit the way he did. He's going to be a winning player for sure, but he's mainly going to be a little bit of insurance in case, Harper gets hurt. Obviously, you're never going to replace him, but you can shift things around. If Turner or Stock get hurt, God forbid, then if Turner goes down, Stock moves over, and if Stock goes down, you just shove Merrifield in there. Or if Rojas plays poorly, or if Marsh is not ready for opening day, or Pache doesn't hit, then at least you have a little bit of help there. He's probably not going to play center. He can maybe play right, but you do have a decent player, a bunch of handful of stolen bases, a lot of hits, but I think temper expectations a little bit. You're not getting a great player. You're not getting like a Jeff McNeil where you're getting an all-star caliber player that can play the infield or the outfield. You're getting a guy that plays maybe two positions, arguably the two easiest on the diamond, and he's going to be a bench bat, which is fine, although they do have options. But I think he'll fit in fine. I think they still have one more move in them, whether it's a reliever, maybe it's another starter, or even another bat. I would be
Montgomery's
over
still
the
out there,
moon
right?
excited. What's that?
Montgomery's still out there, right?
Yeah, Montgomery is probably the most likely player, in my opinion. I don't think they're going to go after Snell. He's too boom or bust, and they can't tie money into a guy that's not at least somewhat of a sure thing. And I think that the player I would love to bring in is Adam Duvall, who the last couple of years, he was with the Red Sox last year. All he did was hit.
Okay.
2 years ago, he was with who was he with? The Braves. All he did was hit. He was on that Braves championship team. All he did was hit. So, I mean, if they bring him in, all he's done is hit everywhere he's been. Cincinnati, Miami, Atlanta.
He won't hit if he gets
San Francisco. So he'll come here and hit 220. But still, I like the idea of bringing him in here. The Citizens Bank Park is built perfectly for this guy. He can play center field. He can play left. He could DH. He can play right. He can play all three outfield positions. Decent. Not spry, but he's a pretty good runner on the bases. So
yeah,
he would be if I could bring in anybody. I know Bellinger's out there still, but
that's crazy, isn't it?
I don't even know. I don't know where he's going to go because the Cubs just brought in David Peralta and someone else that I'm forgetting the name of. But
they all have the same agent though, right?
Yeah, it's Boris. But I don't know if Montgomery is Boris, but I know Snell is, Bellinger is, and Matt Chapman's still available. Matt Chapman's still. I mean, I think teams are starting to get tired of the Boris bullshit. I mean, really, what he does, and this is obviously every agency's going to do this, but he is the best at it. Is you end up bidding against yourself. Boris comes to the table and he says, or really, someone approaches him. Say you're the Phillies and you have interest in Matt Chapman,
right?
Third baseman. You move on from Bohm, whatever, and he knows you got a need, and you know that he knows you got a need. So you go, look, Chapman, he would fit great on this team. We're thinking about making a long-term commitment to him. And Boris, well, I think you should make a long-term commitment to him. He's comparable to this guy. He's got similar numbers to Castellanos, and Castellanos is making $100 million. So he's $25 a year, and he plants these seeds, but no, they don't really exchange numbers. And then eventually the numbers start coming in, and you go, all right, we want to give Snell 125. No, that's not long enough, man. You got to give him at least 8 and at least 2. $200 million. Well, we're not comfortable doing that right now. Okay, well, let us know when you are. And it's back and forth, and it's back and forth, and I think teams are. It's got to be, but I mean, what's happening now? I think with the Yankees, and I think it's good that they're doing this. Apparently, they offered Snell 5-120 or 5-125. Snell wants 10-200 or 10-250, whatever it is. Yankees are content to just wait because they know he doesn't have any offers, and they call Boris and go, hey, 5-125, take it or leave it. We're not going to take it. All right. Oh, we got an offer at an offer for 175. All right, we'll take it then. And he doesn't take it, and all of a sudden that there's no other teams bidding on this guy. So I think Montgomery will be the first domino to fall. If not him, it'll probably be Chapman. I think Chapman just makes too much sense for the Giants, and they have been willing to spend money the last couple of years. So I think they're going to get. I think Matt Chapman will be a Giant. Snell will probably end up in the Bronx. He's a third baseman.
Well,
then you end up with. I think Montgomery's a Philly, and Bellinger, I have no idea.
Do you think it's... How do I say this? Do you think these free agents are waiting for the big fish out of them, who they presume is the big fish free agent, to fall first to see where the market is for it. So if there's two pitchers, like say Snell and Montgomery, right?
Yeah.
Montgomery's probably waiting on Snell to see what his price is, and then
Yeah.
Snell's probably waiting to see where Montgomery goes, and like,
Well,
I'm definitely better than that guy. Where's my price?
I'm glad you brought that up because I think the market for pitching is so sideways this offseason. So Marcus Stroman got an interesting deal. What did he get? 2 years, like 40 million or something like that from the Yankees, or like 2 years, 36. He didn't really get a good deal. He got a pretty. He was in a weird spot because he pitched so poorly down the stretch. He was great from the first half for the Cubs. Then I think he missed time, and then he was terrible in the second half.
2 years.
Aaron Nola was the. What's that?
2 years, 37 mil with a player option, I believe.
So 355 likely is the number there, and then just about 40. So Stroman is not really a guy. Stroman's money should not dictate the other players. Although if Snell goes to the Yankees, he's gonna. Well, I don't want fucking 18 million. I'm worth more than him.
Right.
And Montgomery, doesn't have a long track record, but he's been good for 5-6 years. He's not like an ace level guy, but he just pitched in October 2 years in a row and pitched really well. He only had the one and a third inning for the Cardinals 2 years ago. I don't think he gave up a hit in the wild card against the Phillies, and then last year for the Rangers was just like steady the whole year. The thing with those two is Aaron Nola was the first domino to fall. He kind of took a little bit of a deal with the Phillies. I mean, he probably could have gotten more on the open market, but he made it clear he wanted to stay here, and now I think he took a little bit less money to be here.
Well, I think they were trying to get the Yamamoto.
We have a pants shortage now in MLB, by the way, which we'll get to.
Right until
according to Ken Rosenthal.
It's like teed up for us.
And then exactly. And then the other pitchers on the market were Shohei Ohtani, who is obviously a completely different story.
Right.
I'm sorry. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who signed for 325. He was kind of an unknown. And then you have other guys like Imanaga, who signed with the Cubs, who was kind of an unknown.
Hader.
And then Hader, obviously a relief pitcher. So there's not really no domino has really fallen in that starter market. It's really just those two guys, and outside of those two guys, nothing has really happened. So I think they're waiting for each other to blink, or they're waiting for another team to come out, or maybe they're waiting on an injury.
I might have missed this, but is Clayton Kershaw still a free agent?
He signed with the Dodgers like a week or two ago. Okay. It's a 1-year deal. I don't even think I saw a number yet, but he's not going to pitch until July or August, from what I read.
Let me see.
But yeah, Kershaw, another guy, another unique situation because he's probably taken like $4 million to go to the Dodgers with a bunch of incentives. And then the only other pitcher I can think of is like Trevor Bauer, who is, in a weird spot because of the, the domestic abuse stuff, and people just hate him in general. So
right.
I think you're right about the shoe. They're waiting for a domino to fall. Matt Chapman, another thing, he's really the only third baseman out there, and Bellinger's by far the best hitter, and probably the second best hitter is Duvall, who's not signed either. So
do you think it was a mistake?
Something's got to give.
Do you think it was a mistake for these guys like Bellinger to? I mean, it's never a mistake to bet on yourself, but you were in a good spot. You were crushing the ball. I mean, I guess theoretically you don't want to be in the state or the team that you're playing for, but you're in a good spot, and that team can probably re-sign you for as much or close to it as what you're looking for.
Yeah. I thought he was going to
there's no definite market for you. Like there's a definite, like the Yankees are definitely going to pick me up, like Juan Soto deal.
Yeah, now Soto's there. You have no space for him.
By the way, are you seeing his? I mean, it's granted, it's live ABs, which are
so he struck out against Nestor, and
he looking rough. But,
he had a bomb yesterday, though.
I mean, come on, that's one bomb after many swing and misses. So.
It was off a righty too. It wasn't against a lefty.
Ooh.
But yeah, I think you're honest. Bellinger, from what I read, hasn't received a formal offer from the Cubs yet. I would not be surprised if he hasn't received a formal offer from anybody yet. And Duvall, I think it's kind of a supplementary player though, but he's probably the second best hitter. Rhys Hoskins kind of was another guy people were interested in. It's a very bizarre free agent year. Also because you have so many guys that have gone back to the teams they were originally on, and like Kershaw, Nola, other guys too. So it's a weird thing, and I don't know. And there's been a handful of trades. It was at the Mets went out and got who was it? Adrian Hauser, I think, from the Brewers.
The Mets are a shit show.
Obviously, there was the trade Soto going to the Yankees.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever, but I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. And
is this a baseball issue though?
I think so. It's not an issue with other sports. I mean, football guys are signed the first day free agency starts because they have that legal tampering period. Basketball guys sign like the second they get a chance to. by the time you're in the second week of free agency in any of the other sports, most of the names are gone. Baseball, the first guy that goes is usually like a boring middle of the pack guy. I mean, if you remember the one year, Jake Arrieta didn't sign with the Phillies until February, so
Right.
and he started the season late. This is not uncommon. What's up?
Doesn't that hurt the sport that you have some of these guys are high profile guys or like good quality starters, either in pitching or fielding, but they're not signed, and these guys are reporting for work, spring training, where it's the most pivotal part of the season because baseball is such a grind and mechanics and familiarity and routine, rituals.
So I'll tell you 3 guys I'm not buying stock in this year are going to be Duvall, Bellinger, and Chapman because pitching is usually ahead of hitting this time of year. Pitchers are almost always in shape. Pitchers, regardless of who they're facing, they can always work on things. Hitters, hitting in BP, hitting in BP, hitting in live batting practice, hitting in live at bats, hitting in a cage is so different from hitting in a game. Pitching is somewhat consistent. Like I would say that in a game and in a practice setting, pitching is more similar A and B compared to how hitting is in a game situation versus in a cage or anything. So many people can hit when they're not in a game, and then when they get into a game situation, they can't hit. So hitting is already behind pitching right now anyway. Remember a couple of years ago, the season started with that weird lockout, and we got like 3 weeks of spring training.
Yeah.
Hitting was so far behind pitching that year. And even last year when you had so many guys at the WBC, pitching was again ahead of hitting in the WBC. This year, any hitter that signs late is not going to have a full spring training, and literally at this point will not have a full spring training. Yeah. And these guys might not even be ready for opening day. So I would, especially Chapman, who's coming off a couple weird years hitting-wise. I don't know what you can expect from these guys, but the pitching, I think, will be fine. The hitters, this is going to ruin them. So Bellinger takes another 1+1 deal with, let's say, I don't know, the Rockies offer him, 1 year, $35 million. They break the bank for him, or the Reds or something. And they say you got a player option for $28 million or whatever. And he goes to Colorado or Miami or one of these places. By the way, Jorge Soler just signed with the Giants too. So that's another guy that's kind of late in the game here. But if Bellinger goes and signs somewhere for a 1+1 or a 2+1, there's no sense in him even opting out because he's going to suck in the first year anyway. And he's in another weird spot because he was an MVP, great hitter, and then he kind of sucked for a couple years, and now all of a sudden turned it back on last year. Who are you buying? Are you buying the guy that was there last year, or are you buying the mean of the last 5 years going forward? So why would you want to give him $200 million to go hit 260 potentially with 25 home runs and maybe 70 RBIs when you could have had that last couple off season to go with Carlos Correa? And I don't know. And you can get similar offensive production from Adam Duvall, like Rhys Hoskins, guys like that. So I don't know. It's a baseball problem because you think about it also marketing wise. These teams can't do their Cody Bellinger bobblehead, or people aren't buying the jerseys for their kids around Christmas time. Remember, I got a Roy Halladay T-shirt for Christmas the one year because he was a Philly before Christmas. Now none of the big names are anywhere, and nobody knows who's going to be on what team. Fantasy drafts are going to be in the next couple of weeks. No one knows who's on what team. Like, what are we doing?
It's a free agent pickup.
Football, everything is kind of figured out by the time you get to like the third week of the offseason, and then the draft happens, and then free agency kind of finishes in the middle of the offseason, and then you got 2 months of nothing. Hockey, basketball, August is so boring for both sports because there's nothing going on except maybe a trade here and there. But free agency and hockey, you get reports the first day on July 1st. This guy's going here. This guy's going here. Hey, 4 of our top 10 guys are off the board. It's only 1:30, and all the guys are gone. So baseball, I get that it kind of keeps the offseason somewhat exciting, but at the same time, it really kills the fun. And again, baseball doesn't know how to market itself. It's the free agency's broken. They're talking about expanding. They're in a weird spot.
It's basically shooting yourself in the foot every year, in and out.
Yeah.
I mean, come on now. Like, at this point, say let's see, you're in need of a third baseman, right? And Chapman's sitting there.
Yeah.
So whoever is taking the spot now for spring training is working his butt off because, you work your tail off just to get to the bigs. And you're basically playing for a contract, and you're unsure if my team is going to sign this guy who's just going to walk right off the couch and just take my spot when I've been here.
Yeah, how do you think...
and he's going to be swinging and missing, as you said, because it's such a timing issue.
How do you think, a couple of years ago, Adam Hazley felt in the middle of spring training when he's the everyday left fielder, and all of a sudden, Kyle Schwarber's a Philly? Oh, Castellanos? What the fuck? Where am I going to go?
Right.
And then the year Harper signed, what's Nick Williams doing playing right field every day in spring training? Go, oh, well, cool, Harper's here. Now where am I going to be? Oh, I'm on the bench again. Oh, cool. And
It's
yeah, it's a good way to ruin the psyche of guys. Obviously, you're adding to a team. And I think anytime you add any of these guys that are left, and those aren't the only guys that are left, there are a lot more players. Like Ahmed Rosario just signed. Someone else signed the other day. Gio Urshela signed today with the Tigers. Like there are a lot of guys who are just signing, and everybody they've all traveled south or west to spring training so far, and all of a sudden, there's still big free agents left. I'm sure you could find a list of guys that are still available. But there's probably 2 or 3 guys in there that could be all stars this year.
it's ridiculous out there. You want to just segue right into the
Yeah.
MLB jerseys because of baseball's incompetence with fanatics. This is just crazy, man. Like, there's a lot of images now that they're all reporting, and you're seeing these jerseys, and it's. I mean, as I never played this sport, so I never wore the jersey, like, shirt and pants. But brother, if they're all like one size fits all, and these pictures either are baggy or tighter than normal, high sock, no sock, whatever the case may be, and they're see through, and which probably isn't a big deal, but it's breathable apparently. What do you make of this nonsense? Because you would think they have to change it, but they're making no moves right now. I think you just said earlier that there's a pants shortage.
What's his name? Ken Rosenthal just retweeted somebody saying it must have wrote a story on it. There's a pants shortage. The pants are a lousy material. Trey Turner came out and said the players hate them. Someone who was one of the players on was it Miles Michaelis that said they look cheap? Someone on the Cardinals. Somebody on the Cardinals said they look cheap. You can see Ohtani's like package through his thing. Was it Cal Raleigh of the Mariners took his media photo the other day? You can see everything in there. I mean, not everything, but it almost looks like they're wearing diapers, and it looks terrible. And I get that sometimes pants, when they're white and the light shines on them in a particular way, you're going to see things. But there's no reason you should be able to see what size jersey these guys are wearing and see the Fanatics tag on there when it's tucked into the pants. And
also,
I don't know.
I mentioned when it rains because baseball plays outdoors.
Yeah,
it's raining. That's going to be a sight to see. And you said the picture as well of Casey Schmidt of the Giants.
Yeah, the Giants.
Ladies, if you're single, you're welcome. Casey Schmidt. You'll find the picture that I'm talking about.
Yeah, good luck spelling that.
Or just go on Twitter. Just hit MLB Jerseys.
Just go on anything John Boy related.
Right.
Yeah, it's a problem, and it's. So I have there's a fixable problem here, which is
get rid of Fanatics.
That too, but perhaps shoving Michael Rubin into a bag and swinging him toward like hitting a tree with it, but that'd be a good idea. But so the font and the numbers on the back, the numbers I think generally look okay, except for the fact they look cheap. If they could just get the same materials they had previously and do that, that would be fine. The patches on the shoulder need to be textured, not just a flat. I think I may have mentioned this before. I have Phillies jerseys. So the Phillies away jersey. It's on the back. Bryce Harper, for instance, it's a number 3. It's red, and it's got a white border, and they're both sewn onto the jersey generally.
Yes.
Going forward, there's just going to be one flat piece of fabric,
like printed on,
with red and white, and it's going to be ironed on or whatever. But it's not textured anymore. The logos on the front look lousy. And also, at the very least, make the names the right size, and move that logo back up above onto the collar as opposed to below it. It looks cheap underneath the collar. I think the letters on the back are now 3/4 of an inch. And initially, they were 1 inch a piece. Now they're 3/4 of an inch, which is why they look tiny and cheap.
Yeah,
that's a fixable problem. The pants and the shirts being different colors is horrible.
I didn't even notice it.
They should be made out of the same fabric. Well, they're not the same material, but they should be made out of similar fabric and similar, at least, colors. It won't matter when you're wearing, the red top with the gray pants or whatever, or the blue top with the white pants or whatever. So that part of it won't matter. A lot of teams don't care much for the grays anymore. So, but it's a problem, and I don't know. I don't even know how to fix it. They're gonna have to just redo everything.
I was talking to a coworker. I'm like, you could redo it, but then that's just gonna take more time because you got to think about it. You gotta get X amount of jerseys, shirts, and pants for the players, but resale value for the fans, not only in the States but in Canada or around the world.
And then you're taking a loss on all the old ones.
Exactly, and it's just like.
Although if you sell one jersey, which are $453 now on Fanatics, then I guess you're making plenty of money back.
That's so absurd, dude.
Absurd, yeah. I mean, DH gate's the way to go from now on.
Right, or just say, "Fucking China at this point is better."
So for what it's worth, I have a list of the top 10 remaining free agents.
Oh yeah, go for it.
So Blake Snell is listed as number one. I mean,
Okay.
the top four is somewhat arguable. Matt Chapman is listed as number two. I would probably say he isn't. Cody Bellinger is listed as number three, and Jordan Montgomery number four. I'd probably
Move them up.
put Snell, Bellinger, Montgomery, then Chapman. JD Martinez still out there. Could help a lot of teams. They got like 80 some odd RBIs last year in 3/4 of a season.
Good bench
Michael
player.
Lorenzen for All-Star last year, former Philly.
I mean, I think he hurt his stock with his poor pitching towards the end
Yeah.
after the no hitter.
Eddie Rosario, good platoon bat. Some contender could use him. CJ Crone, if you didn't, if you want a Reese Hoskins light, he could help a team. First baseman, right-handed hitter. Adam Duvall, I've been talking about him, and Donovan Solano, a utility infielder. So there are players left, and the four guys from Boris, among other players, like there are guys. Trevor Bauer, if you want him. I think Mike Clevenger might still be available. Noah Syndergaard, Vince Velasquez, Brad Keller, Matt Boyd, guys that have Domingo Herman. Guy just threw a perfect game last year. Johnny Cueto, Zach Greinke's still out there. Jake Odorizzi.
Greinke's still out there. I think he retires a Royal at this point.
I think he's going to go back to the Royals. And then relief pitching, Ryan Stanek, really good for the Astros the last couple of years.
Wow.
Matt Barnes, Michael Givens. Let's see who else. Brandon Belt. Garrett Cooper, really good for the Marlins. Joey Votto, the fuck.
I thought he
retired. And then, infielders are not. Kike Hernandez is available. Evan Longoria, if anybody wants him. Yeah, Josh Donaldson. Tommy Pham hasn't signed anywhere yet.
I would bring
Michael
Tommy
A. Taylor.
Pham in, even though I hate him.
Yeah. Robbie Grossman, Brad Miller. Like, these guys are players that could help teams. Like Austin Meadows.
Either they're
Kyle Lewis, former Rookie of the Year.
Either they're asking for too much, or the analytics, or they're like trusting the farm more.
I think a lot of these are guys that are waiting to see where the big dominoes go. Once the four big guys get signed, once the four big guys get signed, then you're going to start seeing these other guys go. You could build a team right now. It wouldn't be a great team, but you could build a team right now with these guys, and they'd probably be at least a fringe wildcard team.
I don't agree with that nonsense. Like, sure, if you're the top players, get your money. Like, you deserve it. But if I'm Tommy Pham at this point, screw that. I'm trying to get on a team, trying to compete.
The Twins come calling you. Yeah.
Get some money. You're sitting there on your hands and knees like, oh, I'm hoping the Dodgers call me. Brother, if they ain't call you at this point, you ain't going to be a Dodger.
You're not going to call,
And then work your way up. And then when trade season comes around, hey, show your disgruntledness and then you kind of want to trade.
Yeah, the Aroldis Chapman model. Sign with a bad team, get traded to a good one. He's been in the playoffs, I think, like 8 years in a row now.
And Tommy Pham did work, unfortunately, against the Phillies.
Yeah, he was good for the Diamondbacks, yeah. He was good for the Mets when he was there, yeah.
I know we're just picking on Tommy Pham, but that's just an example.
But he's a good. I mean, Adam Duvall. I know I've been harping on him, but Adam Duvall helped the fucking Braves win the World Series a couple years ago, and last year was great for Boston. Eddie Rosario, another guy, helped the Braves win a World Series. CJ Crone, good platoon guy. He could help somebody. Elvis Andrus. What's up?
Is it also an ego thing of wanting to start, or like you're looking for
who knows
starter money, even though you're probably not going to be a starter?
There's so many variables, though.
I would be on the bench, happy as a clam.
Yeah.
And if someone goes down, my number hopefully gets called up.
So, in fairness, a lot of those names are guys that are, the starting pitchers I read off, or most of those guys probably want to start.
Sure.
The first 5 or 6, obviously, but guys like Vince Velasquez, Eric Lauer,
Cueto.
Cueto.
At this point,
these are guys that might get asked to go into relief pitching roles where they don't want to. They want to go on a team that needs a starter. All of a sudden, the Rays have another guy blow out an elbow. Hey, we'll bring in so and so.
Right.
That's what they're waiting on, or they're waiting on one of these invites to spring training or something, or a non-guaranteed contract. Go sign with the White Sox or whatever and figure it out there. Guys like Elvis Andrus might want to go to like a crap team and start. Solano, I don't know what his motivations are, but he was good for the the Giants last year. And Robbie Grossman would be helpful. He's a good platoon guy. You could make a team out of these players. But, obviously the luxury tax plays a part. When you sign them plays a part. Where they want to play and where they want to live plays a part. Their situation. Remember, Trey Turner pretty much only wanted to come here last year because his wife wanted to be here. That's a different situation because he's a good player. But some of these guys might not want to start. They might not want to play indoors. They don't want to play in the cold. They don't want to play in Canada, or they only want to play in Canada. So I don't know, or some of these Hispanic players might favor going to Miami or a place like that, or LA where there's a pretty dense population, or New York,
Yeah.
and they might have different motivations. And it's easy for us to say, oh, you know what, the Twins could use a third baseman. All right, Evan Longoria, go sign with the Twins. Like
Right.
it's easy for us to play. Let's make a deal here and then play the match game, but. I don't know, and obviously, teams might have full 40-man rosters, and they don't want to sign a guy that could take time away from a young guy in AAA. Like, I don't know.
There's a lot of variables into
There's
this.
a lot, yeah. But I mean, the big guys, there's no excuse for those four big players to still be available. Really, most of that top 10 I just read you, and even a player like Yuli Gurriel, who led the league in hitting 2 years ago. You mean to tell me there's not a team that could sign him for $1 million and just make him the extra? He would. His brother was a D-back.
Okay.
He was the Astro a couple years ago.
Okay.
Hoskins, I think, knee in the face in the playoffs, and then went to Miami last year and stopped hitting. But I mean, he could help a team.
At baseball, I mean, we're almost getting there, but spring training's coming up shortly. I think some games are starting up shortly.
Yeah, the Dodgers scored 8 runs in the first inning today against the Padres.
Let's see when it matters.
Yeah, but yeah.
All right, let's moving on to real quick Stadium Series over the weekend. Our review.
Yeah, I realized we jumped over that. My bad.
No, you good. I mean, it flowed right into the baseball that we were already talking about, and the
that
jerseys.
was fun. It would have been more fun if they won, but
right.
That was it was our first experience outdoors as a crew. Flyers lost 6-3.
It was something
to the
crazy.
Devils.
We didn't stay for the end. I think we 2 minutes left.
Yeah, we left when they scored the empty netter. It was they were out shooting it. So this is pretty much the story with the Flyers all year, right? That they come out, they outshoot their opponent, they lose. Now they have been playing really well since the break, so I will cut them some slack. But Sam Ersson, I thought, was awful in this game.
32 seconds.
I don't know if it's some jitters. Supposedly, this is the first game his parents were in town to watch. Sorry to hear that. So maybe there were some jitters. So some goalies have mentioned, and some other players have mentioned, the depth perception when you're playing outdoors because you're used to the crowd being right here. Instead, they're really far away, and you hear it in a lot of these interviews. That could play a part for the players. The glare probably isn't an issue at night games, but
never know.
I don't know. The Flyers, everybody looks kind of slow. Looked very slow on Saturday, and the Flyers were getting opportunities, but from not great areas, whereas the Devils were getting prime scoring chances, and they were cashing in. So
right,
it was a tough game to sit through, but it was a fun experience, I thought.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, bad discipline from the Flyers as well. A lot of penalties.
Yeah, Konechny took a penalty while they were on the power play. Gave away the power play. There was that hook on the breakaway. I think Drysdale hooked somebody.
It's just bad.
It was an interference minor. They had a delay of game when they shot the puck over the glass. There were some bad. They looked the way we probably expected them to look before the season. Young and experienced, scoring a little bit but not playing very well.
All right.
Unfortunately, because of the circumstance, I'm not defending it, but losing Carter Hart does suck. That really sets this team back. He was their best player, and he was supposed to be the guy to lead them in the playoffs. And Ersson has not been bad this year necessarily.
He's been thrust into the spot.
It's tough. He's really a number two that eventually could be a number one. I mean, Henrik Lundqvist had a lot of nice things to say about him in the intermission yesterday on TNT, but I think it's going to be a while before he is a true number one. And they have these young guys coming up in the system, and they might go out and find somebody at the deadline, or they might just roll with Peterson and him. But he was not very good, and I think there's a chance that maybe the grueling nature of a 82-game season as a starting goaltender will kind of rear its ugly head. They were outskated by the Devils, I thought. I don't know, the Devils just played way better.
More intensity from the Devils as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they scored 32 seconds in off a counter. The Flyers had
the puck bounced out to center ice, and Heisier just took it away. The Flyers lost the puck. They had an opportunity. They had a 2-on-0 in the second period, and they looked like they were skating in quicksand. They missed the net a few times. There were a couple chances that the goalie. Not to take away from Nico Dawes, but he was really good too.
Right.
Made 42 saves. I think it's the most in an outdoor game. So
it was 28 and a half.
Yeah,
28 and a half was the line.
I don't know if you caught any of the Rangers Islanders game the next day, but they played at, I believe, 3:00.
No, I did not.
Sunday afternoon. Fantastic game. Rangers came back. I think they scored 2 goals in the last 5 minutes to tie it. They scored 10 seconds into overtime.
Oh, dude.
On a weird goal. Artemi Panarin had the puck, and the what's it called? The net got knocked off of its moorings. The puck went in as the net came off. They're like, does it count? We're like, I don't know, and wound up counting. That was weird because they had the goal horns for both teams.
Uh-huh.
And because I guess they were both home, but the Flyers were very clearly the away team for the Saturday
Yeah,
game.
we
Yeah,
experienced that in the stands very well.
yeah. But even then, they kind of marketed the whole thing as like a four areas kind of like converting, like
It's really one,
converging
three.
into one.
It's really
Or
three
I
out
guess
of
you had
one.
three areas. Well, I guess the island versus the city for New York, and then North Jersey and Philly. But like the Flyers were very clearly the odd team out.
For sure. It's a very
Yeah,
heavy New York, North Jersey crowd
yeah.
there.
The park that they did in the stadium was kind of weird. There was a bunch of
And
NPCs like
dude,
they're playing The
I was
Sims.
so puzzled. I'm like, why is there a child out there
It's like the
in the
Truman Show.
cold? I didn't
There was
realize there was
there
NPCs
was like a corgi walking that there was no child in the
in the
Imagine
stroller
signing up for that. Hey, you're going to be the NPC for this game. You're going to push a stroller with no kid in it.
in this
By the
frigid
way,
cold weather.
do you know how to hula hoop? Okay, perfect.
Right. Did you see there was one person who was walking back and forth selling like beer or whatever, but there was nothing
Oh,
in there. But he's walking up and down, and there's a guy on a bicycle riding up and down past him. Like no one was interacting with anybody.
it was very weird. Yeah, it was very Truman Showy.
I didn't understand. I was gonna ask our crew that were sitting next to my
Redacted.
left, huh?
Redacted.
The redacteds on my left here. Like, who are these people? How do you get access down there?
Yeah,
I thought
so
they were there for the concert, but they clearly weren't. They were just going in circles.
yeah, they did mention because I was like, why is there trees? Why is there benches? They did mention that the two people inside the stadium, like the people with the microphones, that
host.
were doing, "All right, it's the intermission. We're gonna do this." They did mention it's like a park setup, so I guess they were going for New York as opposed. There's no fucking parks in New Jersey.
Dude,
Like they should have made it a beach.
I felt like they kept the snow for the ambiance. There was no snow anywhere really outside
Yeah.
the park, and then when you go inside, there's like a little bit of snow on the edges, right where the
Well, the
trees
thing,
are. It
the
looked
thing,
weird.
if you ever watch any of the, so they approach the Stadium Series differently from the Winter Classic.
Uh-huh.
The Winter Classic is the showcase outdoor game, which is the New Year's Day they wear throwback uniforms, or if there's not a throwback uniform available for them to wear, they wear something that looks old timey. They usually will dress the field up in like with either fake snow, or the first couple of years there was real snow. When I was in Boston for the Flyers and Bruins, there was real snow on the ground, but when the Flyers played here against the Rangers, it was like 50 degrees, and they had to put the fake snow down. So I guess they approach that differently. The Stadium Series, it's a little bit more unique. The jerseys are more like kind of high tech or whatever. They look kind of like newer and cooler. So I guess they're approaching these games weirdly. I think when they played, they had a game at Dodger Stadium. I think it was the first ever Stadium Series game. It was like 2013 or 14. They had I think they had a beach setup on the ground there. So I think they try to dive into the local area as opposed to diving into like the classic. This is if you asked AI to make an image of like a hockey game outdoors in the winter, like this is what it would look like, a blizzard. And
a winter classic when there's a beach background is crazy.
I appreciate them for trying, but
yeah. I mean, overall though, it was a good experience, like you said. I mean,
yeah, I enjoyed it.
I don't know about you, but I'll never do it again.
Oh, really?
I don't follow the sport that well to know what's going on.
Yeah, that's fair. That'd be like me going to a soccer game.
Because there was so much dead time, and then the referee, I don't know if you caught it, but the first couple times the referee didn't have the mic on. So he's was like, what's going on? Then there's just so many different penalties, minor, hooking, slashing. I'm like, huh? I don't understand it. I'm looking at the scoreboard to see how much.
Yeah, I was trying to answer as many questions as I could.
Well, we couldn't because I was separated by two people.
Yeah, I had the old lady next to me. She asked me, "Oh, what's that mean?" All right, it means this. Oh, okay, cool, thanks. And then I had my friend next to me screaming at the fans, and I'm like, he's talking about mortgages over here with the guy next to him, and I had like a chili recipe. People in front of me are like trying to get my friend's number. I'm like, what's going on here? But yeah, there was a lot of dead time before the game because we got there early. But the intermissions at least went by relatively well because they had the concert for the second one, and the first one we went and we're looking for food and bathrooms and stuff. Yeah. So it was fun.
Yeah, it was. I just wouldn't do it again because I don't follow the sport.
Yeah, it's hard to get behind it if you're not, fully. But it's one of the it's a bucket list thing for me. I've always wanted to go to like an outdoor game as an adult. The Flyers beat the Penguins in 2019 here, and I got FOMO watching. I was like, oh, it's so cool.
Oh, how about that?
70,000 seats.
I won't say I won't ever do it again, but if they come back to Lincoln Financial Field, then I might do that one as well.
Yeah, if they come back to Philly, I'm more likely to go, I think.
Otherwise, I won't. And I'll be
Yeah.
dressed for the occasion because I was not dressed for the occasion. My
I
feet
tried
were
my best to
frozen.
dress up for this one as best I could. I went multiple layers, and the hand warmers and stuff helped as well. But
Well, for you, not for me. I had a defunct hand
yeah,
warmer the whole day.
apparently I got lousy ones. I went to Rally House and got lousy hand warmers.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I didn't have gloves. I didn't have a hand warmer,
Oh, you didn't have gloves either.
and I didn't have the
Oh,
proper footwear. So my feet were frozen midway of before the first
yeah.
intermission because we were
Well,
there early for the
I
concert.
had boots on with thick socks, and I was still cold. So
I had thick socks with sneakers on, and I was dying.
after the first period, I was fine.
I think the
Even
worst
when we
part.
first got there, it was all right. But it was the ground is very cold. I was using the cardboard. So I saw a trick on TikTok
Yeah,
from
you
a
did.
Chiefs fan, and he said if you think you're going to be cold, bring a piece of cardboard. If they don't let you in, just write "Go Chiefs" on it. They'll think it's a sign. But so cardboard is not like apparently like a conductor of cold or something,
Hmm.
where cement is. So if cement's cold, it's going to transfer to your feet.
Right.
If you have something in between that interrupts it, it'll keep your feet a little warmer. So
Yeah. I mean,
did do a ton for me. Yeah.
A lot of people use cardboard if they don't have something to cover the windshield. They use cardboard over it,
Yeah.
and it just keeps the windshield pretty much dry and unfrozen. That's what
Makes
it
total
is.
sense. Yeah.
But yeah, it was a fun atmosphere.
Fun.
The worst part about the entire experience was getting to the car
Yeah.
because
Yeah. Thankfully, that was none of our doing.
well, the weather outside was just ridiculously cold. I don't know about you, but I was
Yeah.
in pain walking. My
All right,
knees.
I wasn't that bad, but yeah, walking for a little bit got me. Once we started moving, I was fine. But
I was not. I was like
when we were
dying.
stationary, I was a little bit more cold than when we were moving.
And another note: if you ever go to the MetLife Stadium and you park and you find your way to the stadium, retrace your steps exactly how you got in.
You have no idea how many times I was trying to convey that. Anytime I go, and obviously I've been to multiple stadiums now. Anytime we go to a stadium, I try to remember the gate we came in, take a picture of the car,
Right.
send myself the location, take a picture from the perspective of where you park. Yeah,
Right.
Dodger Stadium, we went twice. Parked in the middle of fucking nowhere the first time.
Yeah.
Second time we parked in a lot, but there's like 800 lots around the stadium. City Field, we did the same. We knew where we came in. We came in the first base gate or whatever.
Right.
You go, you leave. We came in the Pepsi gate. We exited the fucking Dr. Pepper Zero gate or whatever it was. And we couldn't find the Pepsi gate, but we're walking in circles. I'm like, what are we doing?
And the thing is, that's when I was in the most pain. I was like dead last.
Yeah.
Like I was not an arm's length away from you or Zach, and then the girls were way in front of you. I was like,
Walking the wrong
all
direction.
I kept saying was, I hope I make it, and I hope no one like heckles me
Forgets
because I
me.
have a Flyers jersey on. Because I'm in no shape or form to do anything about this.
Yeah. Devils fans are dorks.
And our buddy was a little like tipsy, but also like kind of tired. So the Conway comments got pretty good.
yeah.
Not gonna cap on that one, but yeah, retrace your steps when you leave MetLife because for some reason we get out of our stand and like, oh, there's steps literally right off. So we went down in a circle and then somehow we were on the opposite side of the stadium.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah, we were like, we came in at like midfield and we exited like through the end zone.
And the car was at midfield still. It was weird.
Yeah.
Other than that, good experience.
Yep.
And like, someone told me, were you getting any fights? I think it was too cold for
Yeah,
anyone to like give a shit. And
You
plus,
pay too much for these tickets to go there and, jack around.
it was a blowout from the start. Like it was
Yeah.
2-0 or 3-0 before the Flyers scored.
I think
So
it
the
was 2-0
Devil
in
fans
the first period, yeah.
were feeling themselves. They were good. And it just became like there's no shot that they're beating us. So it's like there's
Yeah.
no animosity. There's no whatever. And it was like friendly banter in our section anyway.
Yeah, it was mostly fine.
But would you do it again?
Yeah, I would. I like I just like the unique events. Like baseball doesn't really have anything. I mean, I guess opening day for me is kind of unique now because they try to do it in different cities, but
Right.
football doesn't really have anything cool. Basketball doesn't do anything
Excuse me,
either.
London games.
Yeah,
Come on.
maybe basketball going to one of these in-season tournament games would be kind of cool, but
The court.
this is really the only cool thing that any of the four sports do. I mean,
right.
I love the because if you play basketball outside, the players are going to just sweat their asses off, or
I
it's
wouldn't
going to be
mind
too
going.
cold.
I wouldn't mind going to a basketball game outdoors. Like if it's like
Yeah.
in a nice setting, like
Yeah,
Rutgers
keep in
Park,
mind
something like
how
that.
small but keep in mind how small the court is compared to a football field.
True.
Hockey is relatively the same. I think hockey's 200 feet, so it's 2/3 of the field. Basketball is what, 100 feet?
if that.
So you're talking, what, 35-yard line to 35-yard line, like,
And
or
tickets
whatever.
are
100
tickets to get
feet is
into
what,
that can be
33 yards.
tough
So it's
too.
probably the 40. It's yeah, around the 35s. And if you're sitting in 343 like we were, if you're in the 25th row, you're like, is that Tyrese Maxey or that? Oh, that's the official. And you're gonna, because remember they played a Spurs game in the Alamo Dome last year,
Did they?
and people were posting pictures of what it looked like. And people were like, this looks fucking terrible. Like,
If you see Wemby now, you're like, oh, he's like a regular sized person now from that
yeah,
distance.
yeah, you can sort of tell him. That's one of my concerns about WrestleMania is that obviously we want to just get in, but if we sit too high, we're not going to see anything.
I mean,
And
there's
you're like,
monitors, but at the same time, you're there
yeah,
to watch the
you want
live
to be able to
event.
see the game. Yeah,
Why can't every stadium be like Dallas Stadium? Just look at the big old screen. You're there.
yeah, that helps a lot. Yeah,
Um,
and I obviously I'm a huge fan of Citizens Bank Park, but that's one of the few places I've been where I feel like there genuinely is not really a bad seat in the whole place.
yeah,
Because we've now sat everywhere, whether it be behind home plate, the outfield, Ashburn Alley, watching the game from the bullpen, all the way up top, literally the last row for a playoff game I was in. So I mean, we've had seats everywhere, and I think there's not a bad seat
even
there.
standing room.
Yeah, Yankee
But
Stadium
Ashburn
is
area.
kind of similar, where it's built kind of it's probably bigger, but it's built similarly. City Field's probably kind of similar. It's more bowly, but um,
City Field
football
reminds me of
stadiums, I think
MetLife.
there's more bad seats than other sports.
Right. All right. Stadium Series a success though for
I think it was fun.
PHA
Yeah,
pod. It was good. It was a little cold, but that's because that's on me. Not
yeah. The
trust
fact that
the
they lost
occasion.
didn't help. If they would have at least been competitive the whole time, that would have been good. But
Right.
going down 2-0 and never getting it tied after that really sucked.
Right.
When it was 2-1 early in the second, I was like, all right, you know what, we got life. But
It was
whatever.
downhill from the 32 seconds of the
Yeah,
game.
it was fun though. I enjoyed it.
Right. All right. Next to basketball. Let's see. We can do real quick the All-Star break. I mean, it was subpar. I mean,
Yeah.
the East blew out the West 211 to 186. First time a team scored 200 plus points.
So do they not have the target score anymore?
I guess not, which is
I
stupid.
I
'Cause
I,
that would
didn't,
have
I
made it
wasn't
better.
really familiar. I didn't realize they did East versus West again either. I thought they were drafting teams still.
Yeah, I think they went back to it, I think 2 years ago, I believe. They had
Yeah,
Team
the
Giannis,
Pro
team.
Bowl did that. The NHL did that too. The NHL was the first one that did the let's pick teams thing, and then they went back to the East West thing a little bit, like not too long after. Now they're doing divisions.
Right. There's no incentive either. There's no home court advantage. There's no
Man,
anything, which kind of makes it like a joke at this point.
yeah, I part of me doesn't care though. I mean,
Well, I mean, if you want your team to like matter in the postseason or like
yeah.
whatever, sure. But I hear
So
you on that.
the thing with basketball is the regular season doesn't matter anymore. There are 20 of 30 teams make the playoffs. The in-season tournament, they tried to make it matter. People clowned the team that won and said it didn't matter. This game actually doesn't matter, and people are still mad that they didn't play well. Like, there's nothing you can do to clean the game up. It's a showcase for people that aren't actually basketball fans. Like you and I,
Yeah, true.
watching it, will probably get bored. I didn't watch much of the game. I forget what I was doing,
It's a
but
Sunday too, I believe.
yeah. So I was doing other stuff. You were obviously doing other
I was
stuff,
at
and
work.
yeah, no, there was nothing fun about it.
Slam dunk. I didn't see any of it, but I seen enough
Yeah,
clips to like know.
we were at the game when this was going on.
Matt McClung repeats as the winner. Cool.
I thought he did pretty well.
He had the best dunks out of the group. I think Toppin
Yeah.
got robbed on one of the dunks because he didn't make it.
Toppin
Fast.
missed one. I thought he
That's probably what it is then.
I forget. I don't really care enough to watch, but yeah.
Like Jalen, I mean, what is it? Matt McClung dunks over Shaq, and then you got Jalen Brown dunking over a streamer who's sitting down, who's all
Yeah.
5'4".
So I got a question, and I don't
now.
mean to sound hot takey, and I don't remember if I mentioned this on the last pod or if I mentioned it to you in person.
Yeah, go for it.
But I've seen some people say LeBron kind of is to blame for ruining the dunk contest.
I've
Now I
seen the same
understand it. I understand he's LeBron, and he gets blamed for a lot of weird shit. But Jordan did the dunk contest. Kobe did the dunk contest. Vince Carter did it. LeBron not doing it set a bad precedent because then all of a sudden, Simmons didn't do it. Wiggins didn't do it.
Zion didn't do it.
Zion didn't do it. He was like the lock of the century to do it. Anthony Edwards is not going to do it. Wemby's kind of a weird one. He wouldn't have done it anyway. But now, in the future, these first round picks are not going to do it. And it's just like here's the eighth man on the Knicks, and here's a G leaguer, here's a backup center, and then here's a random guy. And I applaud. I know people are clowning him. I actually applaud Jaylen Brown for doing this.
Yeah.
I thought he tried to bring a little bit of legitimacy back to it, and all he's doing is getting clowned for it.
Right.
And I get that. He kind of stunk, and he can't dribble left-handed, so the skills competition was kind of lousy too. But I thought Jaylen Brown did. He was trying to take one for the team to make it relevant again, and I bet you if he would have won, then more stars in the future would have done it.
True. He was the only star out of the group, actually.
People are too worried about making, a butt of themselves and being a meme on the internet.
Right.
I applaud him for not being scared to let himself be out there, put himself out there, and potentially fail.
Right. I mean, you got all these.
Not a lot of people know this, but the gecko is actually left.
There's a lot of in-game, dunks, especially from LeBron, the king of it.
Yeah.
But they don't even do it. They don't even show up. It's kind of like defeats the purpose of the slam
Even
dunk
if you just had somewhat relevant players, like Iguodala was not a star, but he was doing it. Nate Robinson not a star, he was doing it.
Right.
I think if you give me,
the robbery of Aaron Gordon versus Zach LaVine kind of really did it. That was
that was really the last time we had a somewhat relevant final. I mean, Obi Toppin I thought was pretty good too when he was doing it, but
also we're getting to the case of what else could you possibly physically do with the basketball and the hoop.
They're just jumping over things at this point, and there's only so much you can do. Like all the windmills are done, underneath the legs are done, off the backboard done. Like
at this point, you have to do some sponsorship, like get Tesla Cybertruck out there.
You got to jump out. You got to like jump out of a plane or something to do it, or jump on like a
imagine
a blimp.
Imagine ziplining like Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania and dunking the ball. What's going on here? I don't
know, fun
and
games until you Owen Hart yourself, though. But like Aaron Gordon, I thought that's when the dunk contest peaked, and so I think we should just take like a 5-year hiatus from the dunk contest and bring it back so it's fresh. Have a 3-point contest. Do the one-on-one thing that people are suggesting. The king of the court. Maybe do like a game of horse or something. But
I would do
there's only so much you can do.
Do 3.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Do 3-on-3. Do
the All-Star game should just be 3-on-3 as it is.
That's what I'm saying. It should be 3-on-3 All-Star game. But how you do it is, you want to do the whole week. I guess in 2 days, have mini courts or something like that set up in a different location. The main event happens on All-Star night or the All-Star game. We have like Team Jokic versus Team Luka versus Team LeBron versus Team Anthony Edwards, who's also should be on the dunk contest, and have them face each other in a 3-on-3.
Yeah.
The 2 winners from each conference, boom. You set them up at the All-Star game, and you got 3-on-3. And obviously,
even if you wanted to,
something like that.
So I know it would probably be unsightly, but I know you've been in high school gyms. I've been in high school gyms. You have the main nets, going from side to side, but also from sideline to sideline, you have shorter courts.
Yeah.
Why not just split the court in half and have a couple 3-on-3s going on at the same time?
Yeah.
And make that the celebrity thing, or make that the rookies versus sophomores, or whatever, or Team Europe versus Team fucking, I don't know, Team this guy and his friends versus Team Thanasis and his buddies. And I don't know, there's got to be a way. Someone has to be, because we've been doing the same format for a long time.
Yeah.
Which is cool. I like the passing. I don't know if they still do it, but they used to have a WNBA player, an NBA player, and a legend. They would, here's a shot from this elbow, here's a shot from over here, here's a corner 3, this, and then still you got to make a half court shot. I thought that was pretty cool when they used to do that. I don't know. Celebrity game's kind of corny because I don't know who any of the celebrities are.
I mean, it was actually good this year.
Yeah, Micah Parsons balled out, I thought. And CJ Stroud was out there too, right?
I don't know about CJ. He possibly was. I know there's this basketball TikTok star who's like actually good. He was killing it.
Yeah.
He was out there. But speaking of the WNBA, you had Steph Curry versus Sabrina.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
That was pretty good.
Yeah,
actually.
something like that.
And she started it off, and she was killing it. I mean, she missed a couple of key ones that ultimately did her in when Steph Curry basically had like 1 or 2 more buckets than her. But no one's talking about that.
She had the same score as a couple of guys in the 3-point contest.
Right. And then Stevens, what is it? The TNT guy, Smith.
Oh, you're thinking
Kenny
of
Smith.
you're thinking of Kenny Smith. Yeah.
Had a bozo line, kind of like, if she should have shot from the WNBA line, it would have been a much better contest.
It would have been more relevant for their. I'm glad, but she warms up from 3-point range from the NBA. They gave her the NBA ball. Yeah. So she did hint in the future doing a 2-on-2 with Caitlin Clark on her team.
Ooh.
That would be cool. I would be in favor of just having some WNBA versus NBA types of, if you can level. Obviously, they're not going to dunk contests against each other.
That would be crazy. 3-on-3.
if you could level the playing field in a way that have like a shooting contest or
Skills competition.
the
Something.
skills thing with the dribbling, I think it would bring a little bit of one. It would bring some eyeballs to them.
Right.
Someone might fall in love with one of the players and go, "Oh, you know what? I really want to watch her play." And then all of a sudden, you have a New York Liberty fan or something.
Right.
And I think that would bring eyeballs to them, and I think it would freshen things up a little bit.
That's another thing for the slam dunk contest. If you can't get these stars to join in, then say F it, right? Matt McClung, bring him back because obviously he's the reigning champion, whatever. But bring like what is it, slam ball, like people off the street, like TikToks are who actually
Bring some of those like YouTube folks.
Yeah, and have them shine. Basically, this should be a weekend to celebrate the sport of basketball, not just the NBA.
Yeah.
Bring people around the world. Bring in Spain, bring in China, bring in all these other countries, and make it a spectacle for the sport and bring awareness to the sport for kids and all that whatnot. Make it different and
make it a fun event. You're right.
I like Steph Curry versus Caitlin Clark next year. That would be fun.
I love that he allowed himself to be out there because again, not a lot of players want to do that because they're going to be afraid to lose. And
like
obviously nowadays it's way different now. But still. You lost to a girl. It's not the same as it was when you were a kid.
Right.
But if he would have lost her, the memes on the internet would have been rough. She lost, but she put up a good effort. If she would have lost, it would have been, I've lost worse, then it would have been a big deal. But I thought it was cool that they did that. They should find ways to make more, make something out of the WNBA versus NBA dynamic, whether it be a tandem 3-point contest or maybe the 3-point contest will always have star power, but the other, I thought this was unique. Yeah, this was unique. Like you always get, because you're not going to hurt yourself. It's guys doing what they do anyway. Devin Booker taking 25 threes and, Klay Thompson, all these guys, and Dame Lillard reminding people that he's having a bad season, but he's still good at these things. But
how are we sweating a Dame Lillard over 2.5 3-points, but he can just win the 3-point contest?
They should have a 3-point contest that is only centers, and then have a 3-point contest that's only guards and wings. Like I want to see Bol, Mo Bamba, Ivica Zubac. Wemby, well, he would have been too good, but I mean, didn't Cat win it as a center?
I think he came as a
or
finalist.
Came in second or whatever.
Yeah,
but I mean, give me those old, like those big, give me Nurkic, and make there like a cash prize to win.
If you have stars, Joel Embiid.
Yeah,
give me Embiid.
I wouldn't be surprised if he does it at some point, but he'll fucking hurt himself. So,
God, please no.
Imagine him rolling his ankle and he eats shit and just face first in one of the racks.
But yeah, you're right. I mean, I've seen the same take. I think Stephen A. Smith is the one that did it on First Take. That
I know that it's very much hot takey to say it, but yeah,
sure.
Yeah, usually the worst take is the first take, so it makes sense.
Right. But yeah, I mean, kudos to Steph Curry for kind of like.
I thought that was cool.
To say, I don't know who challenged who. I think he challenged her.
He's done a good job of trying to elevate the female product too. And a lot of these
guys,
you'll find LeBron in the front row of these WNBA games from time to time. They're trying. Obviously, it's a partnership, but they're trying. It's hard to get it. It's hard to get it. I don't know how to say this without sounding rude, but I mean, it's an inferior product to an extent. Sure. You don't have the dunks, you don't have the flash, you don't have the star power. It's like watching XFL after watching the NFL. Nobody does it.
Right. And
so there's because you don't know the players. You might know more of the WNBA girls than some of the most of the UFL players, but it's hard to get into it when it's not the same product you're used to watching. That's why so many NBA fans don't watch college basketball, even though that is the main feeder system. But I watch in March, and I don't know any of these players. I just know the Pac-12 teams are soft. The ACC team's been playing against good teams all year, and then there's never bet on Purdue, and that's about it.
Never bet on Purdue. Good rule of thumb.
But I mean, there's a reason that nobody really watches minor league baseball, things like that. College baseball is not popular. It's just hard to get into things when they're not to the same standard or the same speed of play as what you're used to watching.
Also, the marketing.
Unfortunately, and I don't mean for that to sound like a knock against the WNBA either, because women's college basketball is arguably better than men's.
Oh, see, didn't know that one.
I mean, we have the most exciting college basketball player since who? Blake Griffin is Caitlin Clark. I mean, when was the last time we had an exciting college basketball? She's the best college basketball player in the world right now.
She's being compared since I think her sophomore year, maybe freshman actually, compared to Steph Curry.
Yeah.
And that could be like tongue in cheek at first as a freshman, but she's a senior now and she's been consistent.
Yeah.
I think she broke the all-time record.
Yeah, she'll be a star in the WNBA. She might bring a little bit of relevancy back to them. They thought Kelsey Plum was going to do that. She never got going.
She's a
Sabrina
ball hog.
Ionescu is really good, obviously. Candace Parker has a little bit of the star power for both because she does the NBA stuff too.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of a crossover there. But
There's
I feel like
another
the WNBA hasn't
Griner,
had the
she's
big.
coming back too.
Yeah, Brittany Griner. She's playing again, isn't she?
Yeah, she's playing.
But there were some big names. Skylar Diggins was
O'Donnell?
good when she played. Deladon, she's very good.
Hell no, that's what it was.
I watch the occasional WNBA game during the summer.
I don't even know what channel it's on. I can never watch it. But
It's
I'll see
usually on
highlights.
NB or and ESPN, but it's like in the summer.
Ah,
So I catch it a lot when I'm down the shore
gotcha.
because I'll be at the pool and I just need something to listen to.
I wonder if you can make easy money during the summer betting on that.
I bet you can.
I'm putting Caitlin Clark now that she can be eligible for betting. Caitlin
God,
Clark
yeah.
for threes.
Well, she's eligible for betting where you are because you can bet on college players in Jersey, I think.
Let's go. I gotta see. I don't know if WNBA. I haven't seen one ticket of them.
I haven't bet on WNBA ever, so
Interesting. I should check it out.
Yeah.
All right.
So
yeah, there's a lot of ways you can elevate the NBA All-Star Week because right now it's just becoming just a joke. At this
it's
point.
hard. No sport really knows how to do it. The NHL has changed their format numerous times. The Pro Bowl is not even a thing anymore. Baseball at least kind of does it, but they fucked up the one cool thing they had, doing the home run derby, going from 10 outs to 3 minutes or whatever it was.
The Hong Kong Derby.
There should be a bunt derby in baseball. There should be a throw from the outfield derby. I will get into it at some point.
Right.
But what's next? What do we got? The Perth Chamber?
Yeah, the Perth Chamber. As we wrap up the episode here, 143, Perth Chamber. It's a 4-card match. First of all, do you like a short card match?
Hate it.
Pay per view.
Hate it.
Granted, it's
I guess at least it's not a pay per view anymore. It's just
premium
built
live
into the
event.
subscription. Yeah.
But
I hate that there's no real championship matches though.
true.
Although realistically, you're not taking the belt off any of your big champs going into WrestleMania anyway. But
Okay, so well, first of all, on the East Coast time here, it'll be Saturday morning, 5 a.m. Eastern time. So
I'll wake up to the results.
right, it's a 4-card.
Although we know who's winning, so
yeah, it's a 4-match card in no order, but you would assume that the two ladies for the women's title are both from Australia. They should get the main event. But
I
we
agree.
never
They
know.
should. Yeah, they should, but they probably won't. I bet you they'll give them the men's chamber will be the main event.
They're probably gonna co-main.
I think they'll open with the women's chamber match, and
Yeah,
then
probably.
they'll do the tag titles, and then they'll do the girls, and then the men's chamber.
Right. So
Although I think the women deserve the championship,
They should,
the
honestly.
main event.
that's the spot. I hope they don't open it. God, you
Well, that's gonna be a lousy match though. It'll be a big spectacle. It'll be a terrible match based on who's in it.
Can you
So
imagine if they open the show with the the two hometown people? Like it's just downhill from there because
what's a good way to open? The tag match would be my vote to open the show because it'll be high intensity, high impact. But you want to space the two long matches apart.
true.
You don't have back-to-back Royal Rumbles at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view.
That's facts.
So they're probably going to open with the girls. They could open with the guys. They opened with the women's
In the Rumble, right?
Royal Rumble. So maybe and last year they opened with the men's. So I'm pretty sure they could flip it.
They probably do flip it from time to time, from every year. Except
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they flip. I would be fine with the men opening
all right, let's
and
go
the
with
girls getting the shine. So yeah,
Let's see, the men's opener. Let's say if the men's open the chamber, winner
Yeah.
essentially gets Rollins at Mania, but there's a lot of whispers.
that's Seth, not Jimmy, as it will be in Philly.
Right. There's a lot of rumors that could be a triple threat match, which
I'm tired
you
of
are
triple threat matches,
not a
brother.
fan of.
They suck. Triple threat matches suck because imagine the three of you, me, and someone else are in the room. You and I are having a conversation. I butt out, then you start talking to the other person. Then they go away, or then you go away. Then I talk to. That's how it works. You can't have three people fighting each other at the same time.
But think about it. We all get like a 15-minute rest on the ground.
Yeah, that's all it is. So A fights B, and C goes and sleeps outside. C comes back in, throws A out of the ring. B and C go at it, and then A comes back and B goes away, and it's A versus C. It's not, triple threats are not good.
And then
There's never been a good one.
the ref may or may not get knocked down, and may or not be like a D comes in to like interfere.
Yeah,
which is
someone
crazy.
will interfere. Sixers are losing because they said Max has got 35.
But it healed. I've been preaching all this entire time, like, oh, he's great. He's a guarantee for 4 3-points. I think he only has 2. He sucks officially now.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
All right, men's chamber. The 6 contestants here are Drew McIntyre, probably odds-on favorite. Randy Orton, sleeper. Logan Paul, I doubt it because he already has the U.S. title.
Yeah,
Kevin
they gotta
Owens.
set up a program with him.
Kevin Owens, who just battled Logan Paul, which I don't understand. They're in the same
Yeah.
matchup.
He's bringing at least a name to the match.
True. Bobby Lashley for, I guess,
Nope.
Vince McMahon, nostalgic
Yeah.
pop of having the big guy in there. And then LA Knight, baby.
Yeah,
And Perth, that's going to be an interesting walkout. It's going to be great.
and
actually.
that's a big stadium. Yeah,
I think that's how you should do it, too. Like the
So
entrances.
congratulations
LA Knight should be the
to.
last one out.
I agree, or he'll probably be the first one, but
That's
so
true.
the first one to make an entrance. I mean,
Yeah, that's true. I don't know who's the
so
last one out.
so I would imagine they're going to start with Paul and Owens is my guess,
Oof.
and they'll have
I've seen that already.
because Orton can't go 40 minutes.
Nah, I can't.
McIntyre he doesn't need to go 40 minutes. Lashley can't wrestle, and LA Knight's a spectacle. So and LA Knight can't really go 40 minutes either. So Paul and Owens, I think, because they've also had matches before.
Yeah.
I think Orton will be the last one out of a chamber. McIntyre, there's no like chicken shit here who's going to try to lock himself in the chamber. So I don't think it matters if you have a bad guy sitting in the chamber and trying to lock it. You know what I mean? So I think it'll be fun. So congratulations to Drew McIntyre, the most obvious winner of all time.
Do you think
then
he
we
has
have
what you call it, a jab at Punk at any point? Does like
I mean, if
clobbering
anything,
time?
yeah, I guess. Oh,
Does he-
maybe
Dude, if he had to go to sleep to finish the
that would
like,
actually be
win-
funny.
Oh.
That would be him turning into a good guy. So the women's chamber match,
Yeah.
we have. I don't know who any of these people are. So Becky Lynch, who is I think Seth Rollins' actual wife.
Yes.
Even though neither of those are the real names. Liv Morgan, who looks like the girl from Suicide Squad. Bianca Belair, who is the reality TV star.
Yes.
Raquel, who should not have won on Monday, and I don't know who Tiffany Stratton is.
She's
And
the
then
big girl.
Naomi is Trinity, right?
Yes.
Okay, so congratulations to Becky Lynch on winning
Right.
and facing Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania.
Assuming she
Because
retains.
they're already on the fucking flyer. I mean, it's obvious they're going to face each other. They're already on the
Still
picture.
worst
But
case-
this will at
worst
least be a good. I actually enjoy the women's rumble more than the men's, so I think this is going to be a good match too. And since you can't bleed anymore, the men's match has no aura behind it. So
I forget who produces the women's. I think it's the former Natalia's husband or former husband. Fuck, what's his name? Jason Kidd or not Jason Kidd? Jesus Christ,
Tyson
Kidd. Yes, I believe he and somebody else. I think Hurricane
Okay.
or Abyss are in control. of
Helms
it.
is usually the one that does Logan Paul's matches, so he'll probably do the men's rumble or the men's chamber with someone else.
But nevertheless, whoever controls like the women's like rumble.
Hopefully it's
type of
Bobby
thing,
Roode.
It's pretty good always.
They're
every
doing a
time.
great job. They did a really good job. That rumble was great.
I know people were just arguing with me saying, "Oh, the men's was better. It was more spectacle." I'm like,
Well,
sure,
you knew who was winning both.
sure, but because they were like, "Oh, not Rollins, Cody or Punk." I'm like, that's cool, but that's so predictable. This
yeah.
one was like,
But
good.
one you knew that what's her name was going to win
Becky.
though, Bailey.
No, Bailey.
Yeah, Becky had a chance too, but both of them there was only
But
one
did
or two
anybody-
people that could win.
But did anybody have Trinity / Naomi coming back? And did anybody
Jade
have
Cargill.
Jade Cargill? Well, she was kind of a given to show up.
Why is Jade not on TV?
Good question. She should
Is
be
she
at the
going
Rumble.
down to developmental? And she should have been in this.
She should be. Yeah, she should be either in this or
Because
in some build up for WrestleMania. You would
they
surely
should have
her
something in this match with her to build to where her singles match at the link.
with
So
one of the contestants, like her and
Or
and
maybe
Belair
her
will
and,
sell tickets.
or those two against the tag champs, like to do something for us. Like
I mean, you want to throw
that'd be
two singles.
that'd be kind of cool.
Two singles.
Yeah.
I've just never been a fan of that.
Then we have the throwaway tag championship match. This will be when you catch up on your sleep or when you go take a shower. Judgment Day against I don't know who the fuck these guys are. They
Pete
sound
Dunne.
like people.
Pete Dunne and
That's the guy
Tyler
from
Bate.
Jackass, right?
no, he died actually.
And Tyler Bates, the backup catcher for the Marlins, I believe.
Sure.
Or no, he's the safety for the Falcons.
No,
Um,
two Englishmen versus the Judgment Day. It's
They
a
beat
mid-thing.
DX, right?
DIY, yes.
Yeah, well, actually, I really liked those two.
I'm telling
but
you,
it
man.
seems like are Dunn and Bate locals? Is that why they're getting the match?
No, they're Englishmen.
So
They're
I
from
read that. So
across the
there's a
pond.
dude. Was it Bronson Reed is Australian? He's not getting a match.
Isn't that fucked up?
So supposedly he's got a kid on the way, but apparently
Ah.
him not being there kind of sucks. And then there was someone else that's not going to be there. That's
Grayson
Australian. Yes.
The guy who got into it with a TV host. Which
So I guess he'll be there, but are they going to have a dark match with him? I mean, I don't understand.
I don't
And then, so congratulations to Judgment Day on winning that, and then Rhea Ripley, congrats on winning against The Rock's cousin,
know.
the round mound of rebound, Nia Jax.
It should be a spectacle. I mean, I don't know if you caught the backlash at Puerto Rico, but
I did see the Bad Bunny and Carlito things.
okay.
So
Well, Rhea Ripley defended her title against Zelina Vega, who's Puerto Rican.
okay,
And she was very emotional. Now, Rhea was happy for her, but she's playing the heel in this.
of
It has
course,
to be
yeah.
stoic. But watching, her good friend basically corpse and having a moment and crying because it's a big moment for her.
Big deal, yeah.
On Twitter, Zelina Vega kind of returned the favor, saying, "Well, I hope the Aussie crowd in Perth kind of like brings it and makes her cry and have a moment because she deserves
Well,
it."
they're both going to be in their hometown technically,
Yeah,
or
Naya
their
and Wrigley.
homeland.
I didn't know she was Aussie.
Because not Charles Barkley, Nia Jax is from. She's apparently Samoan, but she was born in Australia.
Yeah, she was born in Australia but raised in San Diego, I believe.
Something like that, yeah.
Interesting, but
So yeah,
4-match card, all predictable winners, but it should be a fun card nonetheless. I mean,
yeah, it'll be
besides
a
the
decent
tag team
little.
championship.
I'm glad this is the one I'm not going to get to see, because I mean I'm kind of tired of these 4-match cards with either predictable winners or no real championships on the line.
Well, the beautiful thing is this is the last pay-per-view before WrestleMania because I don't think there's one in March.
No, there might be an NXT thing, but Backlash is usually after WrestleMania.
Okay, perfect. So it should be good. It should be fun. I'm excited.
I'm excited too. I'm excited to watch LA Knight and Kevin Owens in a full match. I haven't really seen Owens in a full match since the tag titles last year, and LA Knight in the Fatal 4-Way. At least Fatal 4-Ways, you can pair off a little bit. But
who takes the pin in either
at the end
chamber? Yeah, who takes the job?
Or I think Orton's the last guy that loses in the men's title match, the men's match, or it could be LA Knight. And then I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Logan Paul is the second to last eliminated, and then he screws LA Knight. And that's how they set up their U.S. title feud.
Their program.
Women's, I don't know. I don't know enough about how they're doing it, but I would imagine it'll be Naomi because she's the TNA girl, or Bianca because she's the most popular.
The thing is,
but I don't know how many. So what's there? There's
6.
4 faces in it and 2 heels in the girls' match, and then the guys it's 3 and 3. What's her name?
Stratton's a heel.
Well, Raquel kind of came off heel during her promo Monday, but
oh really?
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, okay, then that might be it.
Plus, she eliminated but the fucking
Chelsea
what's
Green?
his name? Yeah. And the fans are all over her. Apparently, she's a heel, but fans love her.
I mean, she should be in this match if anything.
Yeah, she should have been in there instead of the Raquel. I don't know who loses that. Bianca seems like the one that would build up all the momentum and then eventually lose. But you can't have a good girl beat a good girl.
So that'd be Stratton. Stratton might take the pin. Who's a clear-cut heel?
I don't know.
Anyway, well, that should be it. Anything else you want to cover before we wrap up this episode?
No, I just want to say we're sure we're going to get breaking news in the next 20 minutes. So congratulations to the Angels on signing Blake Snell. Congrats to Joel Embiid on eventually, I guess, making a comeback. Or congrats to AJ Brown on getting traded. So would you like to guess what the breaking news will be? I'm going to go.
Doc Rivers gets fired.
Cody Rhodes DUI.
Wow. In Perth? Oh, my God.
Yeah, well, how'd you even get a car?
Just tear up the WrestleMania.
Yeah, I don't even know. Let's say by this time tomorrow, we'll get another name in the Vince McMahon report. How's that sound?
Ooh. A prominent name.
See, can't be Pritchard. John Cena.
Who, by the way, started an OnlyFans. He tweeted that out.
I'm glad we're finishing now. Pause. But he apparently put his foot in his mouth on a fucking Stern show, so that's not cool.
Oh, did he?
He kind of defended Vince. Orton had a really good quote in these. I don't know if you read the Sports Illustrated article I sent you, but Orton had a really good quote. They asked him, he was just like, "Look, I appreciate everything he's done for me, but fuck, this really sucks. Like, it's hard to." So I thought he did a good job answering.
It was a great read.
Him and Cody and Seth have had the best answer so far.
Yeah, professionals. And
I feel bad for Triple H because he's in a weird spot. Because I bet he had nothing to do with it, obviously, because he's married to the boss's daughter. But he had to know. But it's a shame. The whole thing sucks, and it's a shame. It's kind of casting a shadow on all this. Thank God for The Rock actually coming back to at least give him some
heel
positive.
Rock, by the way, Hollywood
heel rock, Hollywood Rock. Well, this is. I don't even know if this is heel rock, Hollywood Rock. This is like fucking bully bloodline rock.
What do you make of this? The L.
Either he's a moron or they're setting something up.
I think they're setting something up, and I'm here for it. I'm here for all of it. I like how they, and there he is wearing the championship belt. If you're listening, stop what you're doing, get the timestamp, put it on Spotify or YouTube. Rob is holding the WWF Winged Championship belt.
The Attitude Belt, the Stone Cold Belt.
Stone Cold Belt. That's how we'll name it. Not the one with the skulls, ladies and gentlemen.
Now, they did mess up and put one WWE logo on here, but I'll allow it because it's not quite DH Gate, but it's obviously not a real one.
Are you bringing this to Mania?
I really don't want to carry this thing for 3 hours.
Put it around your waist.
Yeah, I look like the big. It's too small. The middle
Brother,
the middle plate's too small.
You're not going to be the only one with the belt. Everyone's going to have a belt.
Yeah,
out there.
but I mean, we'll be in the 500 level. So unless we're on hard cam, unless we hit a parlay, and we're on hard cam, it's gonna be tough. But yeah, it's been a whirlwind of 24 hours. I had a really good day at work, and I came home and I got this package, and
you went over.
It looks cool. Yeah, I finally get my push.
Yeah. Are you going to be at
I'm getting back into getting. What's up?
Are you going to be competing at Mania? Or are you going to be a
No, I'm a
spectacle?
champion. I don't compete on these big events.
Oh, yes. The Roman Reigns treatment. I got you.
I'm actually I'm getting the 6 months off. All right, dogs are freaking out. They're telling me it's time.
They know. All right, Rob. This has been great. Episode 143 in the books. We'll be back next week for 144. Also, the Tuesday 10. On Tuesday, you can listen on Wednesday.
Yeah, I skipped it this week. There wasn't enough to talk about. I didn't feel comfortable putting something out that was just going to be kind of makeshift, trying to find things to talk about. I didn't want to waste the time of the listeners who were loyal enough to give us a chance to listen. So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with that.
Well, maybe your luck will change the moment we end stream, and you can start jotting up all the news that breaks, and you can.
And Cody Bellinger goes to the Cubs. Yep, exactly.
All right, guys, have a great weekend. We'll see you next week. Enjoy Elimination Chamber at 5 a.m. if you are going to watch it. And again, we'll see you for the Tuesday 10 and the PA Turn Pond next week. Adios.